In the unforgiving wilderness of the Klondike, the name Parker Schnabel has become synonymous with relentless ambition. For years, he chased the ghost of profitability, pushing his crew and his multi-million-dollar fleet of machinery to the absolute brink. He's built an empire on dirt and diesel, but an empire is expensive to maintain. The burn rate is astronomical. Every hour the plant runs costs a fortune. Fuel for the dozers, spare parts flown in from thousands of miles away, a payroll for the crew who have left their lives behind. Each minute is a high-stakes roll of the dice against the clock. The bills are brutal, the margins razor thin. In the world of gold rush, you can be digging gold and still be losing money, and the iron is unforgiving. Breakdowns don't ask for permission. They just arrive, silent and catastrophic, bleeding money and morale with every second of downtime. Faced with this crushing financial reality, Parker knew a conventional season wouldn't cut it. He needed a game changer. So this season, he bet everything on a single, massive pay streak. It was more than just a hunch. It was a motherlode rumor, a whisper in the prospecting data of a legendary pocket of virgin ground, rich and untouched by any miner before him. He staked his entire operation on this new, isolated section of his claim. A huge risk, moving his entire plant to unproven territory. If the numbers held, if the rumor was true, it could change everything. The weight of the investment, the hopes of his crew, the looming shadow of failure. The pressure was unbearable. But the potential reward was unprecedented. A score that could not only secure his season but rewrite the record books for the entire Klondike. He streamlined his wash plant for maximum throughput. He scaled his earth-moving operation to feed the beast. He doubled down on the one patch of ground that held the key to it all. The planning was over, the speculation was done. Now, with the first buckets of pay dirt hitting the wash plant, it was time to find out if the biggest gamble of his career would pay off. After weeks of grinding through mediocre ground, burning cash on a high-risk hunch, the moment of truth arrived. The gamble paid off. They didn't just find a pocket of good dirt, they hit the hot spot. The very heart of the ancient creek bed that Parker had staked his entire season on. Suddenly, the entire mood on the claim shifted from hope to high-octane urgency. This was it. The proof was immediate and undeniable. A thick golden slurry began to flood the sluice boxes. Pay dirt pouring in thicker than Parker had ever seen. The water, usually carrying just a hint of color, was now a torrent of treasure. Every gallon rushing through Big Red was carrying a payload that would have previously taken an entire day to accumulate. The financial stakes, already sky-high, were now being calculated not by the hour, but by the minute. Out in the cut, the operators could feel the difference. Every scoop, every truck, felt heavier, richer. The ground itself had changed, now a dense, dark material packed with potential. The roar of the engines seemed to deepen, the machines straining under the weight of unprecedented wealth being torn from the earth. At the center of it all, the plant was a monster awakened. Big Red devoured the ground and spat out doubt. Ton after ton of pay dirt vanished into its steel jaws, the entire system humming with a new, ferocious purpose. And in the riffles, the story was written in gold. This wasn't the fine, flour-like dust that keeps an operation afloat. This was different. Not dust, flakes, coarse, heavy, unmistakable pieces of metal settling deep into the mats. Real weight in the riffles, the kind that translates directly into ounces, into dollars, into victory. Then the nuggets showed. First one, then another, then a steady stream of them tumbling through the system. These weren't just pickers. They were chunky, water-worn pieces of pure Klondike gold. The kind crews remember for decades. The jackpot prize that every miner dreams of but few ever see. A quick test pan confirmed the unbelievable. The crew gathered around, silent, as the black sand washed away to reveal a solid layer of gold. Everyone knew this wasn't a good week. This was the motherlode. The strategy instantly pivoted from prospecting to aggressive harvesting. They widened the cut, chased the pay, and pushed the limits of their equipment and their endurance, determined to extract every last ounce from this geological freak of nature. The gold counter was ticking higher than ever, pushing the season total into the stratosphere. The numbers, once a source of anxiety, were now a blur of success, climbing so fast it was hard to comprehend. The gold counter surged, tick by tick, into the stratosphere. This was no longer just mining, it was manufacturing. A high-efficiency factory with one single glorious product. This was industrial-grade abundance. Parker's obsession with data and optimization was paying off in spectacular fashion. Throughput up, downtime down, recovery exceptional. It was a streamlined, data-driven machine at full efficiency, firing on all cylinders. The burn rate was astronomical, consuming fuel and parts at a terrifying pace. Costs were savage, but for the first time, they were insignificant. The ounces justified every gallon, every spare part, every overtime hour. At cleanup, the sluice mats were so heavy with concentrate they took 2 people to lift. They weren't just mining a pay streak, they were harvesting a river of gold that had been trapped for millennia. But running this hard, this fast, takes a toll. At this pace, even iron had limits. The constant heavy load was pushing every weld, every hose, and every engine to its breaking point. There was no time for proper shutdowns. Maintenance became a sprint between surges, a frantic high-stakes ballet of mechanics and operators working to keep the beast fed. But Parker wouldn't back down. He knew a hotspot like this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Every second of downtime was thousands of dollars lost forever. Still, they kept the hammer down, chasing a total that would rewrite the record books. The time for speculation was over. The cleanup would confirm the impossible. Every fold, every groove was loaded. Shock turned into method, method into momentum. They refined and refined, isolating the metal from the mud. It wasn't just volume, it was quality. Moisture gone, the truth remained. Bucket after bucket, each heavier than the last. Then came the weigh-in. Ounces climbed past familiar benchmarks. Records trembled. Every bucket brought a new level of ore. 10,000. A line few even dare to imagine. When the final weight locked in, the room went quiet. The number was not just big, it was history. They had redefined rich. In the quiet of the gold room, a single sound cuts through the tension. The whisper-quiet click of a digital scale. Every eye is fixed on the glowing red numbers, a final definitive judgment on a season of relentless toil and monumental risk. This isn't just a weigh-in, it's a verdict. The air is thick with anticipation, the culmination of thousands of man-hours, millions of gallons of fuel, and an unwavering belief in a patch of frozen ground. The official tally, when it finally settled, didn't just make waves, it unleashed a tsunami across the entire gold mining world. Parker Schnabel hadn't just broken the record for a single season, he had obliterated it. He'd taken the established ceiling of what was thought possible in the Klondike and launched it into the stratosphere. The final figure wasn't just a number, it was a statement of dominance, a declaration of a new era. $20 million. An unheard of, almost mythical sum for a single operation in one season. Suddenly the titans of the past, the legends whose totals were once the stuff of campfire stories, looked ordinary. Their greatest triumphs were now footnotes in Parker's story. He was, without a shadow of a doubt, the undisputed heavy hitter of the Klondike. He tried to contain it, to maintain the stoic composure of a commander, but the sheer satisfaction of achieving the impossible was undeniable. This was more than just profit, it was vindication. It was the physical manifestation of a gamble that paid off beyond anyone's wildest imagination. This glittering pile of metal was proof. For the crew, it was the ultimate reward. A team forged in the crucible of pressure, now paid in irrefutable proof of their skill and dedication. But this historic haul wasn't the result of a lucky strike. It was the product of a meticulously engineered system, a machine built to hunt for gold with ruthless efficiency. It was a testament to a philosophy that refused to tolerate inefficiency, that saw every wasted minute as a loss and every gallon of fuel as an investment. The operation was streamlined, data-driven, and absolutely relentless. Every truck that rumbled past, every bucket of pay dirt that was lifted, was a carefully orchestrated note in the same powerful song of production. This was victory earned the hard way, through planning, precision, and sheer force of will. Word of the $20 million season spread like wildfire through the mining camps. Screens lit up across the Klondike, from the smallest family operations to the sprawling industrial sites of his rivals. In an instant, egos were recalibrated. The competitive landscape, once a battlefield of equals, had been fundamentally and irrevocably shifted in a single evening. The crown of the Klondike isn't a piece of jewelry to be worn. It's a weight, a burden of proof measured in ounces and carried on the shoulders of the one who dug it from the earth. And tonight, that immense weight rested squarely and comfortably on Parker's shoulders. This wasn't just a win, it was a new benchmark for excellence, a loud, glittering, and undeniable declaration. History had been rewritten, not with ink, but in ounces and effort. The Klondike had a new king. The news traveled fast. For the legendary Tony Beets, the number hit like a slap. Not a win, an earthquake. The Viking had seen everything. Until now. Records don't ask permission. They arrive. This wasn't just a victory, it was a new standard. For once, words failed. The bar had been raised, far above the tree line. A rival humbled, a rivalry reborn. Even legends have to recalibrate. Parker Schnabel is no longer just a gold miner, he is a financial powerhouse. The $20 million haul has changed the face of the Klondike forever. The competitive landscape has shifted. The king has been crowned. What will Tony Beets do next? Please subscribe to our channel, History Documentary Hub, for more insightful videos and intriguing content.